Our next inductee is receiving the highest honor an organization can bestow for the second time in his life. He's a winner of the Red Triangle Award from the YMCA. The award is named for the red triangle that used to be in the YMCA logo. It represents the unity of mind, body, and spirit that is what the Y hopes to strengthen in every person who walks through its doors. The Kushner Family Literacy Center teaches English as a second language and encourages kids with a host of after-school achievement awards, building the mind. 6 YMCAs at his behest now have a community gardens project. The program provides an opportunity for each community to be on the front lines when it comes to teaching healthy eating, building the body. YMCA CEO George Rommel recently called Kushner and his wife a consistent force for the Y in Rochester for over 2 decades, building spirit on a daily basis. The mission of the Y, of course, is to place Christian principles into practice with its programs for the community. And the Y touches tens of thousands of kids on a yearly basis. Not all that dissimilar from the mission here at Aquinas. And that's just one part of this distinguished career. We're not even getting into this stuff about atomic energy or lasers or, being the senior financial executive at a Fortune 500 company. Please welcome to the podium, class of 1968, Jurij Kushner.
I'm thrilled to be invited to the Riley family reunion here today. And I hope I'll get many invitations in the future. That's Ron's speech. I'm really humbled and so deeply honored to be selected for the induction to the Aquinas Institute Hall of Fame. Aquinas has such a fine tradition and reputation in this community. I am so proud of the other Hall of Famers who've been selected over the past 30 years. And I'd also like to congratulate my fellow inductees in this class of 2018, especially my dear friend Tom Riley and the whole Riley clan. I know that my son Steve, who was class of 1996, and Jay Polston colluded, that's a popular word these days, to make this happen. I sincerely thank you for the love you've shown me. The timing of this recognition couldn't have been scripted any better. My birthday is next week. And later on in the fall, we'll be celebrating our 50th anniversary from graduation. As I prepared my thoughts for this speech, the word that kept coming to mind was proud or pride. I am so proud of being an Aquinas graduate. I'm so proud of the accomplishments of the school anytime I hear about new developments. I'm so proud of my classmates. I'm proud whenever I learn of a new acquaintance, being from the class of 1950 or 1975 or class of 2000. It immediately opens the door to begin a conversation. Aquinas binds us together. Pursuing this theme, I tried to identify what are the important events or achievements in my AQ relationship that I'm most proud of. Well, the first one is very personal. It was a vignette that occurred back when I was a junior at Aquinas. Actually, it started about 2 years earlier than that, when I was fortunate enough to win a full scholarship to Aquinas based on my entrance exam score. Without that scholarship, it would have been nearly impossible for my family to afford my attending Aquinas, even though back then tuition was $180 per semester. Well, the full scholarship was really only guaranteed for 1 semester, it turns out. Because back then, I don't know if it's still that way today, but back then, you needed to be in the top 3 of your class every report card period in order to maintain your scholarship. So now let's go back to this junior year event. I had retained my scholarship for 9 consecutive reporting periods. It was in that winter of that year that I got my mid-year grades in the mail. Well, they were okay, but I knew instantly bye-bye scholarship. My parents contributed to my angst by suggesting that maybe I was spreading myself a little too thin. I just turned 16 that summer, was working part-time, and was starting to date. You know, my priorities were all screwed up, or at least were getting screwed up. I boldly took to the offensive and declared, this can't be right. So after an extended conversation, I convinced my dad to drive down to Aquinas and look at the St. Thomas Club that's listing that's posted on the bulletin board. I told him that's what really counts, not the report card. Well, the board confirmed that my report card earned me a 9th or 10th place in the class, obviously out of the scholarship zone. Father Galen's, then vice principal, spotted me looking at the list with a pained look and came over and asked what was wrong. So I told him, recounted the whole story. He said something like, the bulletin board doesn't lie. But based on my track record to that point, he said he would go back into the office, that sacred office, and look up my grades. He took what seemed hours to come back out. When he finally did, his face was white, like all the blood had been drained from him. He apologized profusely and said there had been some kind of terrible mix-up, and that not only was my report card wrong, but that in fact my average for that reporting period was 99.8 something, right, out of 100. I was so proud of Father Galen's. I was so proud of and for my dad, who had been willing to entertain my slim chance. And I was proud of myself for sticking to my guns. Another proud moment occurred 28 years after my own graduation, when my son Steve graduated, ranked number 1 in his class of 1996. AQ researched this situation and told me that it was the only instance of father and son being ranked first in their respective classes in the history of the country. I hope it's either happened again or is happening again even as we speak. Finally, another proud moment was a few years ago when my wife of almost 44 years, Marie, who, by the way, I first met on a city bus on the way to Aquinas. She and I began a process of creating the Kushner Family Scholarship Endowment. When fully funded, this will allow Aquinas to grant several full scholarships annually to outstanding scholars who are engaged in various music programs at Aquinas. The connection to music is that one of the reasons my son selected Aquinas many years ago was the opportunity to continue his musical interests with the band program and Mr. Ferris. My son later went on to play with the renowned Michigan Marching Band. So yes, I am brimming with pride over these moments in time in my relationship with Aquinas. Induction into its Hall of Fame is the capstone to that long, proud relationship. Aquinas evermore.